Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV, where we analyze and dissect trending and catchy headlines every day. I am Obed Jerry, your host for today, and with me here is Ekong Bright, your football AI.
Yeah, nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah, welcome. Together we'll be doing the papers.
Yeah,
it's the new week, lest I forgot.
Yeah, happy new week to our viewers
and compliments of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a new week, a whole lot of buzzing happening during the weekend, and we are back today again, talking about a whole lot of things that is happening in Nigeria and across the states.
And before I forget, hope you are okay mentally. Like I said, I would be asking every day.
Well, yeah, I am, no doubt. Even though Nigeria is not a mess, like mess, not a deep mess that
but we are still
people are trying to portray it to be. But we hope for the good and the betterment of our economy, because that is one point that every Nigerian is looking at this point in time. Nobody is even buzzing about what is happening in politics or whatever.
Exactly.
But we, the ordinary citizens, we are trying to go by our daily lives, being able to have our purchasing power so we can get the basic commodities that we need currently, just so we can have a Merry Christmas, just like it's always said, so that we can have a wonderful Christmas and a prosperous New Year. So in terms of prosperity and gathering of foodstuffs or whatever, we tend to go out of our way just so we can derive that happiness that we need. And currently our economy in Nigeria is totally messed up, big time messed up. So we just hope for the betterment. And if you follow the news, and even not just the news, it's even happening to us currently. If you go out to withdraw cash, there's this cash scarcity, like the news of cash scarcity hovering around the country. So,
and even an increase in withdrawal charge.
Yeah, in terms of charges. So we just hope the CBN acts on it quickly so that there won't be kind of chaos come 24th, 25th December.
Exactly. All right, you too can also be a part of this show. Do well to like our videos, turn on the notification button, subscribe and follow us across all our social media handles so that when we drop videos like this, you get to see it firsthand. Right, without wasting much of our time, look into the first newspaper for the day. We'll be looking at the Daily Independent newspaper. You see at the top story here reads, Nigeria can't move forward by suppressing Ndibo, says Abaribe. Details of this story is found on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. CUPP raises the alarm over plot to validate pro-Wike lawmakers. Sub-story under that reads, pave way for Governor Fubara's impeachment. Details of the story is found on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. We see at the bottom story here it reads, 42,000 failed bank depositors get 1.7 billion naira, says NDIC. Details is found on page 6. We also see here, owners of disused aircraft, Dear Kayamo, defy 90-day order. Sub-story under that reads, over 60 abandoned aircraft still litter nation's airports. Court orders restraining federal government from relocating them, says sources. We see at the main story headline here, it reads, federal government should prioritize taming inflation, not 1 trillion naira economy. Sub-story under that reads, say decline in inflation will lead to increase in naira value. Okay, Bright, what are your thoughts on this headline that reads, federal government should prioritize taming inflation?
Yeah, now, currently, with the heading itself, you'll know that there's a whole lot happening in the Nigerian economy, and the president in his speech few weeks ago said that he had this plans of giving the Nigerian economy a $1 trillion rise in the space of 8 years. Now, we are trying to look at the possibility of this coming into being. Meanwhile, inflation rate in Nigeria is increasing every month.
Exactly.
Definitely. As at October, we had our inflation rate was 27.33%, skyrocketing from October to November. It was hitting 28.20
in the span of 1 month.
In the span of 1 month. Now, inflation is increasing by the month. Let's look at the year-to-year end, looking at November last year and November this year in terms of comparison. Now, it's a 6.59% difference in terms of increase. Now, as at last year, November, we had like 21 point something in terms of our inflation rate. Now, in this year, we are having 28. That's a huge gap, and we don't know what's going to happen December or January on the coming years. Now, these are the things we should look at as a country, because the more the inflation rate goes up, the day-to-day life of every Nigerian citizen becomes difficult in terms of our purchasing power. The rise of poverty becomes higher and higher. Nigeria currently is one of the country that has high poverty rates, and this is not something the giant of Africa should be looking at this point in time, knowing fully well that we are also one of the highest and largest oil producing country in Africa and also in the world. So why would we be suffering? Why would our citizens be in lack? Why would we be among this set of people, this set of countries that have a high poverty rate? Why would our citizens be finding it difficult to purchase the basic needs of our daily lives? These are the things that these stories tend to look at. Now, the CEO of a big firm in Nigeria, in Lagos, thereabouts, Mr. Bismarck Rewani, in his remarks, said that the possibility of the $1 trillion would I say vision coming into being is a good one, and is a welcoming development coming into the country. But why not tackle it step by step? Why not look at the current state that we find ourselves in, our present Nigeria?
More like doing it in a gradual process.
Yeah, let's take it in a gradual process. Tackle the one in front of you first before looking at the bigger picture. Everybody has a bigger dream, no doubt, but there has to be a starting point. Now, tackling inflation currently, bringing it to its minimal, should be the starting point for Nigerian government. It's not telling us, because everybody might come out with big promises, but what are you doing? What is the present state of the country? What is the present state of the economy currently saying? You get? But this is not what we as Nigerians is happy to see currently. Now, he's saying that if we tend to tackle inflation in its minimal at a gradual process, then Nigeria come 2024 would live a better life, knowing fully well that the beginning of the year might be a bit difficult because inflation will definitely go up. We see that happening every year as the beginning of the year comes. It's a normal, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere in the world. In the beginning of the year, there's always this high rise of inflation, people finding it difficult, the price of things skyrocketing, and all of that. But it's looking at the midsection of the year, let's say in terms from, let's say April, May, June, there should be the inflation rate should drop a bit. Now, this would make life easier for people to gather wealth and also tend to grow whatever they have, whatever vision that they have, whatever businesses they have in mind to grow. Now, saying the $1 trillion plan, it's a good one, but tackle this one first. This is what we are suffering as Nigeria currently. If you can make this go away, then definitely your $1 trillion plan for the economy would be a visible thing that we would be seeing that, yes, it would come into light.
Exactly. So you have the opinion like the man that said that the government should ditch away the $1 trillion plan first and tackle inflation.
It's not about ditching the $1 trillion plan, but this is what we are seeing. This is the current state that we find ourselves in. It's good to plan for a better tomorrow,
but better to plan properly.
Yeah, better to plan. And planning properly would be tackling whatever problems you have at hand. I don't know. There's a saying that there's a Bible saying rather, that instead of going to remove a peck of wood from your brother's eyes, why not remove the log blocking your eyes? The log currently at this point in time is the inflation rate that we are suffering currently. The lives of many Nigerians that is going to
languishing in poverty.
Yeah, languishing in poverty. So what is the government doing about it at this very point in time? Our budgets are crying millions and trillions of dollars, and we are going out to borrow funds just to fund this budget. And at the same time, we are lavishing our money or our budget. What this budget is trying to cover is mainly based on the political class, their personal life, trying to make them live a more sophisticated lifestyle, which Nigerians in general, the citizens, would not be a beneficiary to it. You are using money to renovate houses, you are using money to get SUVs, you are using money to get cars and all of that. This is not what Nigerians are looking for at this point in time. What are you putting in place for these people? Are you creating more job enabling and employment and more enabling environments for people to get employed in terms of jobs? Are you putting the market value, the space of the structure in the market structure? Are you putting it in a way whereby investors would come out and
freely
invest,
and gain their profits?
Yeah, do what they want to do, and people would tend to generate wealth. These are the things that Nigerian government should definitely look at. What are those structures that you are putting in place for people to harness wealth in your country? And if that is not what they are looking at this point in time, then I think the $1 trillion plan or budget or whatever vision they have is not happening.
All right, let's move away from the story and look into the next newspaper for the day. We'll be looking at the This Day newspaper. We see at the top story here reads, Power sector stakeholders say changing ownership of Disco won't solve Nigeria's erratic electricity problem. Sub-story under that reads, urge NERC to implement cost-reflective tariff structure. Another sub-story under that reads, oppose federal government on Naira-dominated gas sales. Details of the story is found on page 5 of the This Day newspaper. We see here an interesting headline reads, education is great weapon in fighting against terrorism, says Ms. Tinubu. Details is found on page 8 of the This Day newspaper. The headline is interesting because of who said it.
No, it's not about because of who said it, but I feel like, well, Nigerians, like you said, I feel like you're looking at the person that is making that statement instead of the truth about the statement itself.
Exactly.
Now we found out that terrorism at itself, playing in Nigeria, people that are involved in it,
mostly illiterate and ignorant people.
Yeah, definitely. So if the level of education that is being spread across the country or cut across the country is on a high scale, and people are given this opportunity to get the basic education like we need, just like the elementary of itself, and you further, then definitely people will not be looking at terrorism as a source of
wealth, or
not just wealth or getting whatever thing that you feel like, it's more like, I feel like it's more like people don't know that there's power in negotiation.
Exactly.
There's power in negotiation and not force. Now these people that are involved in terrorism or kidnapping or whatever, they feel like this is their best means to get whatever things they want. Meanwhile, you can acquire wealth and amass wealth in large, just like you would want to if you are high in terms of your educational knowledge, how broad you are in things that you know. Then you can use that knowledge that you have to
channel it into high negotiation values.
Definitely. So these are the things that I feel like the wife of the president is saying at this point in time.
That is why I said it's funny, because the wife of the president saying this, how much has the husband and his government
invested
channeled
in terms of education.
Exactly.
Well, I get your point. I get where you're coming from. But truth is not, let's leave the federal level at itself. Let's go to the state level. What are the state governments doing? What are the local governments doing at this point in time to make sure that the state of education in their locality is top notch? And what are the supports they are giving to these private and public schools in terms of infrastructure and salaries? Are you when you are being paid a huge money or a huge ransom, or let's just say a whooping money that tends to quantify your services, you'll be happy to go to work every day. So if those are the things that are being met even in the littlest of localities, I believe the level of education in Nigeria is going to hit a maximum pace, a maximum height that would enable
affect and reduce
the terrorism in the country, at the same time improve productivity in the lives of every Nigerian, and definitely to affect Nigeria as a whole and take us out of the impoverished state that we find ourselves currently.
All right, that's right. All right, still on the newspaper here, we see at the bottom story reads, war against judiciary, unwarranted, reckless senior lawyers caution. Details of the story is found on page 36 of This Day newspaper. We see here purported court orders surfaces ahead of ruling, more woes for judiciary. Sub-story under that reads, CUPP confirms development Another story that reads, Center uncovers plots to halt by-election. More of the story is found on page 5 of This Day newspaper. What are your thoughts on this headline, knowing fully well of everything that transpired in the Rivers State judiciary as a whole?
This news is interesting. It's becoming more interesting every day, and I feel like there will be more tension if this is not resolved.
Exactly my thoughts.
Now, if we want to go back antecedents, owing up to this point, there has been a whole lot of story building up onto this time, and I feel like the one that really sits on this new opening, or this new story is coming up, is there was a court injunction that deprives, or would say there was a court injunction rather that stops the 27 House members that
that's up to 27 House members from being impeached, moving from parties, changing parties.
What did they record in English?
I'm motivated to ask if you mind.
From defecting. Ask me now.
No.
Ask.
Stop now.
Use another database.
Ask the question again.
Oh God!
Alright, let's go.
There's a court injunction. Just coming from there's a court injunction.
Now, there was a court injunction that stopped the 27 House member that defected from PDP to APC, owing that one of the House member was saying he is the Speaker of the House, and there was a Deputy Speaker also among the 27 House member that defected. But there was a court injunction that upheld Mr. Ye's ruling as the Speaker of the House of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Definitely. So owing to that fact, coming into this new story, there was also another injunction that made the seats of these 27 persons vacant, which means there was supposed to be a by-election to fill in these seats in the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now,
so it's more like a counter injunction.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Now, it's a further injunction, like a court ruling, giving an order by the court that makes these persons that defected to this other party, now they won't be member of the House. They have actually relinquished their seat as House member in the Rivers State House of Assembly. So there was to be a by-election to fill in that space currently. Now, these persons went to the court to seek another court judgment that would make them
position.
Yeah, keep them in that same position. Now, this ruling was supposed to come out today, which is the 18th of December. But prior to this judgment coming out today, there was a leakage of the judgment that was supposed to come out today. There was supposed to be a sitting today, and there was supposed to be a court judgment today, releasing a memo that would keep these people in seat. This memo was supposed to stop the governor and other the House members from taking these people, the DSS and other people, out of the River State House of Assembly, taking them off their offices, collecting back their certificates and all of that. But owing to that, this document was released online.
Now, don't you think it was done purposely?
I feel like it's a slap to the judiciary.
Exactly, because they've prepared their ruling ahead of time.
Now, how on earth is this document
done a day before and released a day before?
So it's a slap on the judiciary, and owing to the fact that now there is another breeding case that has been happening in Kano State owing to the election, whereby the tribunal overturned the election, giving the opposition party as the winner of the election, whereby the sitting governor was taken out of office. Now, going into this case was taken to the state court, which is the High Court, and there was an overturn. Moved to the appeal court, there was also an overturn. So it keeps going. Now, what are we saying? Is the judiciary, is our court system a mess? Because totally we could see that it's more than a joke than we could ever see. This is more like me as a citizen looking at our Nigerian judicial system, and it feels like I'm
a child's play.
It's more like I'm looking at Night of 1,000 Laughs.
But you know, something of this nature happened sometime, I think, in Ebonyi State and in Cross River, if I am correct, where some party house members defected to another party and automatically they were relinquished off their seats.
That is how it's supposed to be. That is what the law says about defection and all of that. Now, that's
because it was through that party you got that seat.
You got that seat. So definitely, whoever is supposed to occupy that seat should be a member of that party. Now, funny enough, truth is, the case at hand, or what would I call the satire, that the bigger picture that we are looking at as Nigerians, is the fact that our judicial system is a mess.
So everyone just tends to just ignore whatever outcome it brings.
How can you want to come out and give a ruling and whatever
day before
we are already seeing and it's out there on social media? What are we saying? What is the state of authenticity? What is the state of transparency? What is the state of giving us a more definite now this breeds lack of confidence in our judiciary. Now there has been a lot of cases coming up from the tribunal in the tribunal case in Kano, the state ruling by the High Court, the Appeal Court. Now they are waiting for the Supreme Court's judgment, and it's definitely not making sense. Now, funny enough, do you know why this is also funny? Is the sense that this court coming out to give this judgment is also a High Court.
Exactly.
Are you trying to say that the judgment given by a fellow High Court doesn't know what they are saying?
Like the first one wasn't.
And we know in judicial precedents, no two courts of the same level can counter
each other except a higher court.
A higher court. So definitely, this case should be taken to the Appeal Court by this person that are defecting to another party, looking for a safe haven, just so they can carry out whatever thing that they say. Because even in that story, we are also getting to know that this act is just so that these persons can carry out the act of impeaching the sitting governor of the state, asking for more time so that they can carry out whatever plans that they have.
In expense of their positions.
Yeah, in expense of their position. Now, they are not even looking at the people of Rivers State, but the act at which they want to carry out. They are trying to safeguard their seat so that they can perpetuate whatever thing they have in store for us. Because for me, I feel like this is more unfolding stories that is going to pan out in the coming days. Now, truth be told, also in this story, as it seems, the governor of the state, I feel, is doing exceptionally well, trying to make peace. They are actually doing the right
thing. Trying to uphold peace, yet shifting away godfatherism.
Definitely, and also upholding the rule of law. Because that is what we all cry for. We all say, the rule of law is not working. But this is where the rule of law should function. And the people that are said to be a custodian of that law are trying to make it look like a mess and a joke to all of the people, not just people of Rivers State, but Nigeria in general.
Large. Now, let's deviate a little bit. Do you think the justice in charge of that case might come out and debunk this information, or might come out to give a different verdict?
We are hoping to see something different today. But we don't know what is going to pan out, because this story is being the news that we are actually talking about today is being carried out by it's being brought to our notice by the Coalition United political party. If this court junction or injunction comes out, and if there's any judge or any justices that will come out to uphold this, then it is a slap to Nigerians and
to the
judicial system itself, and they would take it upon themselves to look into this case indefinitely, and they feel like this is just a laughable process.
Exactly.
Definitely to trample and also make our judicial system look less of itself, and this is not what Nigeria needs at this point in time. People are looking for a way that the judicial should be like our last hope, to give us the hope that we tend to look at. If everything is not working in Nigeria, definitely our judicial system should be one place where even ordinary citizens should find as safe haven. But this is not what we are saying in the coming days of our Nigerian judicial system in general.
All right, let's go for a very quick break. When we come back, we'll look at last newspaper for the day. So stay tuned.
The Children's Studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
All right, welcome back from that very quick break. I must commend you for staying up to this time. Without wasting much of our time, let's look into the last newspaper for the day. We're looking at the Daily Trust newspaper. It reads an editorial story. It says, what does the World Bank want from Nigeria? Details of the story is found on page 13 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Another story here reads, experts, unions defer over federal government's plan to restructure TCN. Details is found on page 19. We see at the bottom story here reads, Afenifere raises alarm over rising kidnapping in Southeast. Details of the story is found on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We could even see pictures of people queuing to get gas, queuing to withdraw from the ATM and all that. This is to let you know how tough this period of this economy has become for us Nigerians.
Yeah,
even with you having your money in cash at hand to get gas, cash in your account to withdraw.
It's more about the naira scarcity, like we said earlier, and we hope the CBN has something in store for us. They have to act now because I see chaos breeding.
Exactly,
breeding.
The correct word. Chaos.
Yeah, definitely, because
a hungry man is an angry man.
Definitely, and once we are not being able to get our cash, I feel like those working in the bank, there should be more securities to safeguard their lives, because we know how Nigerians can be at this point in time, where they are not being able to access their own money, which they need to purchase things that would aid them in this season of fiesta or festive season, whichever. So we think, I think basically that the CBN should act swiftly and make sure that there is money or the naira available for
cash
people.
flow.
Yeah, cash flow should just span around the country. People could get money at any point, at any time that they want to, and definitely reduce that would definitely reduce the high rate of tax or charges that these POS agents are actually charging us currently. Because this morning, once I went out to get money to transport myself to work, I was paying 200 naira just to get 5,000 naira, which was different from the 100 naira I normally get. So things would definitely keep going high, and people that are selling in the market would tend to increase the price of whatever goods and commodities they are selling. So I feel the central bank governor should look at this immediately.
But from another angle, if they make the cash flow come out as it used to be, some persons will still want to hold this cash in case of such events turning out to happen again.
If there is money in the bank, definitely there will be no need for one person to go to POS to get money. And even if there is so much money, or there's hoarding of...
But it's still one of the reasons why, sorry for cutting you short, it's still one of the reasons why this is happening, because after the event that panned out during the presidential 2023 election, some persons went to the bank and withdrew a huge sum of amount, hoarded it at home. Till this point.
We wouldn't know, but we just hope something positive comes out at this point in time, so that we would have a peaceful festive season.
Exactly. The CBN governor needs to help us a lot. And those people hoarding currency, what would you do with it, keeping it in your house? Let it flow around. Let us see the money and use. At least we are not begging that you dash us this money. Yeah. Bring it out for me to be, you and I to be able to withdraw what we earned, what we want to do.
So that we can use our money judiciously and get whatever things that we need.
Exactly. All right. Still on the newspaper, I read here, Trust TV wins Nigeria Media Merit Award. Details is found on page 26 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We see at the main story here reads, Zamfara community under siege as bandits strike. Sub-story under that reads, military vehicles, police outposts burnt. 3 persons killed, 16 abducted. State government to hire 4,200 security guards. Details of the story is found on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. What are your thoughts on this issue?
A whole lot of insecurity has been going on around the country, and the Zamfara case is not something new.
Exactly.
It has been happening over time, even the one that happened in Nasarawa with the kidnapping of students, and
that is more like a regular basis thing.
Yeah, things like this happening in the north is more like, we tend to see it as a daily news. If it's not seen on the front page of a newspaper, then definitely nothing has happened in the north.
Exactly.
So I feel Nigeria has gotten to that point where we shouldn't be talking about insecurity the way we used to, or we are used to in talking about it currently. I think it's a high time we tend to put our forces together, both states and federal, and tackle it once and for all, because the lives of our citizens are at stake at this point in time. This is the festive season. Exactly. The PCMs that were kidnapped months ago on their way to the camp, there's still no news about it. Students that were kidnapped in Nasarawa, there's still no news about it. Residents living in Zamfara where this thing happened, it happened in straight succession of a week. It started on Saturday, where these men came at about 9 p.m., carried out their attacks, went away with some certain persons, I think 3 in number, and those that resisted were killed. Now, it's not just that they were kidnapping, but whoever resists to follow them, they are being shot at and killed. Now, we heard that at the early hour, late evening of, I think that was on Monday, they came back again where there was an exchange of fire between them and the Nigerian military force that lasted for about 2 hours. And they still carried away with some person, and they came back again. So, this was the same thing that happened in Nasarawa, and I was like,
it's even their confidence.
Yeah, coming back, because funny enough, their manpower is giving them
much confidence.
Yeah, okay, what are these guys
get away with it?
What are these guys? What type of ammunition are these guys coming with? Would it be able to suppress or surpass that of the Nigerian military force? Would it be a match? Because we feel like the federal-owned state, our Nigerian military, should be able to overpower any sort of force coming against them in our own territory. But we find out that this is not happening. Now, the lives of these people are in danger. This is the festive period. We also find out so many people have relocated away from that very area. These internet displaced persons running away from their homes. If I don't have peace in my own house, where else will I find peace? We plead on, I personally plead on the Nigerian government and also the state government of Zamfara to come and put their heads together with both the Nigerian police force and the Nigerian army, and even the Nigerian Navy and whatever force, the vigilante that are living, to put their heads together and see that there is a way to get these people out and also eradicate any sort of terrorist activities happening in that vicinity, because this tends to look like something that has been happening over time from the persons or residents that were being interviewed in the community. They said this has been happening over time. Their life has not been saved. These people come and take from them in terms of commodities, and we heard that what is happening now was as a result of some sort of exchange of fire that happened between them and the Nigerian army some time ago, where they recovered some animals, just like was said in the paper. So we know that will be cattle and farm products and all of that. And these people, it's a sort of retaliation in form of revenge, just so they can get those things that we are taking away from them in terms of cash or finances. Now, these people are saying that these terrorists, at this point in time, they feel they are insiders, that they know that at this point they have harvested their farm produce and stocked up their barns, if it's yam produce or whatever farm produce that they have harvested at this point in time. And these people kidnapping their person will definitely seek for ransom in terms of monetary value, or this produce that they have harvested that they lost. So it's more like these people know what they want, and it's a tactical and well-structured plan happening currently at this point in time.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bright, for your analysis. I'm afraid this is where we draw our curtains for today. Like I said earlier, you too can also be a part of this show. Subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification button, so that when we drop videos like this, you get to get it firsthand. Also, follow us across all our social media handles on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and every other social media platform that you can think of. I am Obed Jerry, your host for today, and with me here is Ekong Bright, your football AI.
All right,
Thank you once again. And this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. Thank you.